Tomorrow morning, the defense will begin presenting its case in Ken Paxton's impeachment trial.
It comes after several big developments today. Jason Wheeler has been in Austin since day one of the trial and breaks down today's twists and turns.
This was the wildest day by far in this impeachment trial. We had a big apparent mistake made by the prosecution, a big surprise from the defense, and there was key testimony that happened and key testimony that didn't.
Your Honor, at this time, the House of Managers rest.
A late-in-the-day surprise from the prosecution that seemed to be a surprise to them, too.
I messed up.
In an apparent procedural misstep, they rested their case against Ken Paxton, and suddenly it was the defense's turn to present and to surprise, too.
We filed a motion for directed verdict.
Saying the prosecution hadn't sufficiently proven the case, they announced they'd seek a snap vote to dismiss the 16 articles of impeachment, but then changed their minds. The whipsaw developments came at the end of what you could call Bribery Wednesday.
What was the time and date of when the general instructed his trustee to pay for his home renovations?
September 30th.
Even though the defense showed that Ken Paxton paid for work on his home in 2020, the prosecution argued that metadata showed that the remodeling invoice was created the day after he paid and after his staff's suspicions had boiled over.
What date that invoice was created?
October 1st, 2020 at 7:50 p.m. Central Standard Time.
After the whistleblowers, after he knows that you're aware of the renovations, after a cease and desist, after directing payment, only after all of those things does he get the first piece of documentation that would in any way credit that it was valid. I guess I'll end where the defense began. There are no coincidences in Austin.
Paxton's former aide testified that on 3 occasions, the home contractor said he'd have to check with Paxton's donor friend, Nate Paul, about what remodeling was being requested, at the very time Paxton's office was helping Nate Paul on several legal matters.
It felt as though there might be an inappropriate relationship there.
The testimony on the bribery impeachment article, though, was not followed as expected by Paxton's alleged mistress taking the stand. Prosecutors have said Nate Paul employed her so she could be closer to Paxton, but she left for the day, apparently cleared from having to appear at all.
And so tomorrow, the Ken Paxton defense begins at 9 a.m. under the Capitol Dome. We'll bring it to you. In Austin, I'm Jason Wheeler.
Win or lose, he already has plans to discuss the trial. Ken Paxton posted on X that he'll sit down with Tucker Carlson next week in Maine. He said it should be interesting when the two discuss the last 2 weeks in Texas politics.
Tens of thousands of you watched our live stream today with analysis from Tanya Iser and our team of experts. You can join us again tomorrow on our WFAA Plus app. We are also on YouTube and WFAA.com. And if you want a deeper dive into this case, point your phone at that QR code because we just released a special episode of Politics. Jason Wheeler spoke to the chairman of the Republican Party who predicted an, quote, all-out Republican civil war if Paxton is removed from office. It's an episode you don't want to miss.